Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed series premiere gives Tatiana Maslany her most chaotic character yet, and I'm hooked. What if happiness could be packaged, marketed, and sold like a product? What if someone promised to erase your frustrations, satisfy your deepest desires, and give you exactly what you've been missing? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what would you be willing to sacrifice for that promise? Those are the intriguing questions at the heart of Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed, a series premiere that immediately grabs your attention and refuses to let go. Packed with dark humor, emotional chaos, unexpected twists, and a career-best performance from Tatiana Maslany, the first episode introduces viewers to a world where everyone is chasing fulfillment, but nobody seems to know what fulfillment actually looks like. By the end of the premiere, I wasn't just entertained, I was completely invested. This is the kind of pilot episode that makes you forget you're watching a television show because you're too busy trying to figure out what disaster is about to happen next. And trust me, there are plenty of disasters. From the very first scene, Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed establishes a tone that feels both hilarious and unsettling. The world of the series looks colorful and exciting on the surface, but beneath that glossy exterior is a sense that everything is slightly off. Every conversation feels loaded with hidden meaning. Every smile feels like it could be hiding a secret. Every opportunity seems to come with a price nobody is talking about. That atmosphere becomes even more compelling thanks to Tatiana Maslany's incredible performance as Paula, a woman who appears to be one bad day away from completely falling apart. Paula isn't introduced as a hero. She isn't particularly successful. She isn't especially confident. And she certainly doesn't have her life figured out. Instead, she's someone who feels trapped. Trapped by routine. Trapped by disappointment. Trapped by the realization that life hasn't turned out the way she imagined. It's a feeling many viewers will immediately recognize. The brilliance of the premiere lies in how it turns those relatable frustrations into a chaotic adventure. Paula's dissatisfaction becomes the engine driving the entire story forward. Every questionable decision she makes stems from a desire to escape the boredom and disappointment that have consumed her life. Of course, escaping boredom turns out to be much more complicated than she expects. As the episode unfolds, Paula finds herself drawn into situations that become increasingly bizarre and unpredictable. What begins as a seemingly harmless opportunity soon evolves into something much larger, a chain reaction of events that quickly spirals beyond her control. Watching Paula attempt to navigate this chaos is endlessly entertaining. Maslany delivers every line with perfect timing, balancing comedy and vulnerability in a way that makes Paula feel incredibly real. One moment she's making you laugh with her awkward reactions and impulsive decisions. The next moment she's revealing a deeper sadness that reminds you there's a genuine person beneath all the chaos. That balance is what elevates the show above a typical comedy. The laughs work because the emotions feel authentic. The drama works because the characters are funny. And the audience becomes emotionally invested because the series never forgets that even ridiculous situations have real consequences for the people experiencing them. One of the premiere's greatest strengths is its refusal to follow predictable storytelling conventions. Modern television often relies on familiar formulas. You can usually tell where the plot is heading after the first 15 minutes. Not here. Every time the story seems ready to settle into a comfortable rhythm, it suddenly changes direction. A simple conversation turns into an argument. An opportunity becomes a disaster. A joke reveals something important. A minor character unexpectedly steals the scene. The result is an episode that feels genuinely surprising from beginning to end. Part of that unpredictability comes from the show's excellent supporting cast. While Paula remains the emotional center of the story, she's surrounded by characters who are just as complicated and intriguing. Nobody feels one-dimensional. Nobody exists solely to support the main character. Instead, each person appears to be pursuing their own version of happiness, often in ways that conflict with everyone else's goals. Some are ambitious. Some are desperate. Some are manipulative. And some may be hiding far more than they initially reveal. The premiere carefully plants clues that suggest larger mysteries are waiting beneath the surface. Certain characters seem to know more than they're willing to admit. Certain events appear too convenient to be accidents. Certain conversations linger in your mind long after they've ended. It's clear the writers are building towards something significant. The question is what exactly that something might be. Visually, Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed is just as engaging as its story. The series embraces bright colors, stylish cinematography, and energetic editing that perfectly reflects Paula's increasingly unstable emotional state. The world feels vibrant and alive. Yet there's always a sense of underlying tension. Even during the funniest moments, you get the impression that something could go wrong at any second. That constant uncertainty keeps viewers engaged throughout the entire episode. Another aspect of the premiere that deserves praise is its commentary on modern culture. Beneath the comedy and chaos lies a fascinating exploration of society's obsession with happiness and self-improvement. Everywhere we look, we're surrounded by messages telling us we could be happier. Buy this product. Take this course. Follow this advice. Change your lifestyle. Upgrade your life. This series cleverly examines what happens when people become obsessed with the idea of maximizing pleasure and eliminating discomfort. Can happiness really be guaranteed? Or does the pursuit of happiness often create more problems than it solves? These themes give the show a surprising level of depth. Rather than simply making fun of modern culture, Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed explores the emotional reasons people become vulnerable to these promises in the first place. Everyone wants to feel fulfilled. Everyone wants to feel important. Everyone wants to believe that a better life is possible. The series understands that desire and uses it to create both comedy and drama. Paula's journey throughout the premiere perfectly reflects this conflict. She wants something more from life, but she isn't entirely sure what that something more actually is. She's chasing a feeling, a possibility, a dream, and that uncertainty makes her vulnerable to choices she might otherwise avoid. As viewers, we can see the warning signs. We recognize when she's making mistakes, yet we also understand why she's making them. That emotional complexity makes her an incredibly compelling protagonist. Many television characters are designed to be likable. Paula is designed to be fascinating. Sometimes she's sympathetic. Sometimes she's frustrating. Sometimes she's reckless. Sometimes she's surprisingly insightful. But she's never boring. Tatiana Maslany deserves enormous credit for making such a complicated character work. Lesser actors might have leaned too heavily into the comedy or focused entirely on the drama. Maslany somehow manages to do both simultaneously. Her performance gives Paula a level of authenticity that makes even the most outrageous moments believable. Whether she's delivering a sarcastic joke, experiencing a public embarrassment, or confronting painful truths about herself, Maslany commands attention in every scene. It's one of those performances that reminds you why she's considered one of television's most talented actors. By the time the episode reaches its final act, the tension has increased dramatically. Relationships begin to crack. Secrets start emerging. Trust becomes increasingly difficult. And Paula finds herself deeper in trouble than she ever imagined possible. The final 20 minutes are particularly effective because they build suspense without relying solely on shocking twists. Instead, the show focuses on character decisions and emotional consequences. Every action matters. Every mistake has repercussions. Every choice pushes the story closer to an inevitable collision. Then comes the ending. Without revealing major spoilers, the final moments completely reframe several aspects of the story. Questions that seemed answered suddenly become mysteries again. Characters who appeared trustworthy become suspicious. Events that seemed random reveal potential connections. It's the kind of ending that leaves viewers staring at the screen and immediately wanting another episode. More importantly, it feels earned. Too many shows rely on shocking cliffhangers that exist purely to generate attention. Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed uses its ending to deepen the story and raise meaningful questions about the characters and the world they've created. The episode concludes not with easy answers, but with intriguing possibilities. Where's Paula's journey heading? Who can she trust? What secrets remain hidden? And, perhaps most importantly, what does maximum pleasure actually mean? Those questions linger long after the credits roll. For a series premiere, That's an impressive achievement. Pilots are notoriously difficult to execute successfully. They must introduce characters, establish themes, build a world, create conflict, and convince audiences to return for more. Many shows struggle to balance those responsibilities. Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed handles them remarkably well. The premiere is funny without becoming ridiculous, thought-provoking without becoming preachy, mysterious without becoming confusing, emotional without becoming melodramatic. Most importantly, it feels unique. In an entertainment landscape crowded with reboots, sequels, and familiar formulas, this series arrives with a distinctive voice and a clear sense of identity. It knows exactly what kind of story it wants to tell. And after one episode, I want to know where that story is going. If the rest of the season can maintain the same energy, creativity, and unpredictability displayed in the premiere, Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed has the potential to become one of the year's most talked about television shows. The combination of sharp writing, compelling characters, stylish direction, and Tatiana Maslany's outstanding performance creates a foundation that is difficult to ignore. Most importantly, the premiere accomplishes the one thing every pilot episode hopes to achieve. It leaves you wanting more. Not because of a gimmick, not because of a shocking twist, but because you've become invested in the characters and genuinely care about what happens next. That's a rare accomplishment. And it's exactly why I'm hooked. Final verdict: 9 out of 10. Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed delivers one of the strongest series premieres of the year, combining dark comedy, emotional depth, social commentary, and a brilliant lead performance from Tatiana Maslany. It's messy, unpredictable, hilarious, and surprisingly heartfelt, a chaotic ride that leaves viewers eager for the next episode. If this premiere is any indication, this series could be something truly special.